Remember when I used to give that email back in the day at the start of the show, Tom, that I never checked except for on Flag Day?
Yeah.
I gotta do that again. We're gonna have to.
You need to create one then.
I gotta create one.
jcsflagday@gmail.com. How about that?
It'd be really hilarious, and I really should do it. And then that way I could give it out there, and the people who are insiders on the show would be like, "Oh, I remember when he used to do this." And there was that guy that I sent an email to 7 years after he sent me an email, and he was like, "This is awesome. You did. You responded 7 years later." I didn't think I was like, "Oh, this is gonna get rejected. Like it's gonna come back. This guy's moved on. There's no chance." And he was like, "Hey, man, it's Flag Day. Thanks." Oh, that's great.
I'm a man of my word.
Well, what was funny about it was I used to go and it'd be a day where it's like pouring outside. I've got jazz on my speaker at the house. I'm sipping coffee. I'm like, you know what? I'm going into work today. I'm gonna check the Flag Day emails. Let's go see what we got. Oh man, this one's from 2011.
How do you define jazz, the kind that you like? Of course, it's not smooth jazz, but I'm just saying, do you like the busier sound? Do you like the slower sound? Fewer instruments?
Both.
More?
I like both an awful lot. I don't need it. There's not like
Vocals?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
No. No. I don't. So no, you think about the old bebop sound, like the early jazz, like that kind of stuff. That's a different thing that you wouldn't compare that to like a downtown San Francisco Dawn Club type thing where it's, very 1950s or something, or 1970s.
Like Scat Cat, there's ragtime, there's the New Orleans kind of sound, which is, ragtime-ish.
Yeah. It's weird because it's improvisational, so it's hard to define the jazz is in that way. I mean, there's some clear parameters, obviously, but I don't know. I like all of them. It depends on the mood. All of the styles, that is, it depends on the mood. If I want to relax, if it's, if I'm sitting back, I'm not here. I'm not listening to something. Not doing that.
Big band,
Like big band is very different. By the way, as a side note, if you didn't watch the Ken Burns documentary on jazz, it was phenomenal. You'd like that. You can find that anywhere. I'm not Ken Burns' agent, but I'm just letting you know.
No, but I'm sure it's comprehensive and good.
It's thorough.
That's what he does.
It is thorough.
That and wear hair pieces.
The worst hair pieces of all time. He accomplished something. I'm going to say this before I get into answering these questions.
It's like the Lego piece that you snap onto the head.
He accomplished something, though, and this is what it is. It's akin to the big lie. So if you make it so absurd as to not be believable, right? As to be believable, I suppose. Then you'll go, oh, okay, well, that's got to be his real hair. It's just a bad style because nobody would actually wear that as a wig, given how obvious it is. He accomplished that. Like, I saw Ken Burns. I'm like, well, Jesus, Ken. I mean, there's no effort being made here. That must be your real hair, which makes you a terrible, terrible decision maker when it comes to style. And then people are like, no, that's a wig. I'm like, well, no, come on. You can't do it that way. I mean, it's so over the top. So I don't know. He left me kind of like, I don't know.
It would be like showing up in the Bozo the Clown wig and just saying, how you doing? Not calling attention to it at all. Is that his real? Did he really do that?
Yeah. All right. So I wasn't planning on starting this way, but I credit to you guys who get in the chat early before we even start the show. Troy Knoll is famous for this. He'll say, good morning, Jeff and Tom.
Good morning, Troy.
Good morning, Troy. And sometimes if I get here early enough, or if I think about it, I'll enter into the video portion of what we do for the Jeff Cameron Show. And I'll see that people have asked questions or they're saying hello or whatever. And if I have time, I'll be like, hey, how's everybody doing? But this is good. There's two things here that I thought right off the bat. I'm like, God, people are intrigued. They want to know. Jeffrey writes, Jeff, this Daryl Jackson waiver thing is really getting me nervous. And the reason I'm laughing is because I know what that feels like. I know where you're kind of like, I not for nothing. It's been a minute. Are we gonna, like how you've ever started that conversation?
Yeah. It's like being in line with you for a rental car.
Correct.
And there's a certain amount of people in the queue that can cause you to start looking around. And the moment you start looking around,
it's coming.
This is, that's akin to this message in the chat. Mm-hmm. Come on, man. It is the come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Tom has been with me more than everybody besides my family for things like that, where he can sense, oh, this is Jeff's about to get
I
this.
play an over-under game in my head.
Yeah,
just
here
to keep myself entertained.
Here it comes.
All right, 35 seconds.
Yeah,
Over.
how
under.
long until he mentions
He's
this?
happy today. It's going to be over.
Yeah. I've gotten better.
Oh, world's better.
World better. Me in my 30s, it didn't take long at all to be like, what in the world? But now it's just kind of like, all right.
See a bunch of brake lights on the interstate coming home. Like, I see them. You might be switching the song, and I'm thinking, okay, 14 and a half seconds before the GD bomb.
Yeah.
And then there we go. He switches.
It's usually how it starts.
Gee, dang it. Again.
No, yeah, my wife knows when it's coming too. She'll reach over. It's a preemptive strike. She'll reach over and grab my arm. Like, I know. That's what she does. She just, I know.
This better be the mother of all accidents.
Oh, I've said that before. There better be 52 people dead up here when we get up here, strewn about the highway.
What do you know, Tom? It was a flat tire.
Imagine that.
Bunch of a-holes.
Slowing down to look at a guy changing a tire because people are stupid with nowhere to be.
Going northbound.
Yeah.
Are we going northbound, Tom? No, we're not. Southbound.
The old rhetorical question. Yes. So Jeff, I sense that in your question, these types of feelings that elicit that response from me, right? Jeff, the Daryl Jackson waiver thing is really getting me nervous. Any update on that? And if he doesn't get it, how does our depth chart look there without him? All right. So I'm right to feel that. I hear it in the question that
it's a two-part question.
Yeah. This is a classic you and me in the line going, well, you think that you could make this a little bit more efficient, That's what this is, right? That's just a kind of a observation. Like,
certainly not in a rush around here, are they?
It's been 12 minutes. We haven't moved one spot. And that's all it is. It's just me. And you're like, oh, here we go. It's unraveling. It's unraveling.
Internally, that's always been a pet peeve of mine, though, is that particular room, the car rental office. Because I don't know how many fields they have to fill in with the keyboard.
It must be 750.
A court stenographer doesn't type as much as a car rental agent.
In Spokane, Washington, at 4 a.m., I walked up to the rental car. 4 a.m. The airport is empty. I walked up to the guy, and he looked at me like I had three eyes. Can I help you? Well, no, I just wanted to chat. I wanted to hang out.
I'd like a large pizza.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I want to rent a car. And he's like, oh, I did rent a car. I had already rented it. I had done it before we flew out there.
My confirmation number.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, here you go. And he's like, oh, hold on. He's like, typing. Half an hour. Gee, what are we doing? What could this possibly be?
Hold these truths.
Yeah, there's nobody else here. I don't know the answer, Jeffrey. I'm worried about it as well.
Oh, you are? Okay.
I just recently started to enter into his level of, it's about to be June. Like that hit me the other day talking about this team. Because I think, and this leads me to the other answer to that question, I think he's vitally important. I think Florida State's a different team if he plays hard, if he plays like he's trying to get a contract, which he should be. It is a contract year. This is it for you, man. You hate school. You don't feel like being in college. Everybody knows it. You've transferred 150 times. You just want to play professional football. Got it. I'm not blaming you. I got it. College ain't for you. You want to go make a lot of money because you're 6'5", 328 pounds, built like a blank house, and you can, or brick blank house, and you can move. You're going to get paid. But you got to play hard. You got to keep it between the lines until then. And every day that we don't have that waiver approved is a day where he may doubt whether or not he's going to be able to play college football this year. And, he's not exactly locked in the process.
So if you're wearing the legendary Joe Torre Yankee cap right now, where you're managing personalities,
right?
You're worried about the dynamics of the room in this moment.
I'm starting to get a little concerned.
Right.
I'm not panicking. No mashing of the button. There's none of that going on. It's just sort of a, you'd have thought we'd have heard by now, guys. I'm just saying. Anybody else thinking that?
That's the sound of you at the NCAA's desk.
Oh, yeah. Ding, 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 ding. Hey. I asked this 3 months ago. So I do wonder, like, this seems pretty straightforward. They seem to think it's pretty straightforward. The way he practiced in the spring and the way the coaches talked about him as an addition and what they think he's going to be when you looked at the rotation suggests that most assuredly they think this is going to get approved. So for that reason, I suppose I'm not panicking. But I bet you, and I'll find out, I mean, I can always just ask. I'm sure Coach Norvell was probably like, well, what are we doing here? Let's go. So I'm curious. We'll see. If we get mid-June, right after my birthday, Tom, then I will begin to really maybe every now and again you'll just hear, and that'll be representative of like getting a little worried. If we get later in the month, it becomes 2. If we get mid-July,
I just have a feeling you're going to be doing that. Apropos of no inside information, it just seems like the NCAA likes to drag these things into camp. We've had that happen before. So I think that it could be into July, and you may be mashing that. You may have to take that to the ACC kickoff with you.
It's not ideal. If we get to the ACC kickoff and we haven't gotten this worked out yet, I'm not saying that it means we're in trouble. It's just that you don't trust the NCAA. They never seem to be in a hurry to do anything. They make the wrong choices on the regular. They're forever untrustworthy. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't like it. Jeffrey, so I feel your pain on that. Think about something else. Get you some mac and cheese.
Were you to remove Daryl Jackson from the depth chart, how do you feel about it?
I don't like it, man. I think the depth chart's better, and they're going to be good, but they can be great with him. And I'm trying to win championships, and I keep going back to that point. We're already good enough without Daryl Jackson to win the ACC. We're good enough to be in a position where maybe you have an outside shot to make the college football playoff or something like that. Maybe. But with him, man, you might make some real noise. You could dominate the ACC. You could win that conference. You could go into the playoff with the hope that you could win it. Like, I think he's a great player, potentially. Now, somebody might say, and understandably so, well, Jeff, he wasn't great at Miami. We didn't see him really at Maryland. So what makes you think he's great? Because I'm looking at him, man. I watched the dude in the spring, and when he wants to play and decides to play, he's a freak. Nobody else looks like him. Nobody. He's different. He's the best defensive tackle we have when he cares and he's locked in and he wants to play. Now, that's not every day. But it's in there, and it needs – listen, I don't care if he wants to play real hard against some of the bums on this schedule. I'd like him to play hard all the time.
So, yeah, you don't need him to keep it between the lines for 12 games.
No.
More like 5 or 6.
Yeah, at most. You got to be really good against LSU. You got to be really good against Clemson, maybe twice.
It's up to you if you want the tape to say that you try hard every week.
Right.
But I need you to try hard for 6.
What I want from you is to kick ass against LSU, kick ass against Clemson, probably kick ass against Clemson in the rematch, kick ass against Miami and Florida, and then whomever we play in the playoff. There you go. So like 6 or 7 games out of potentially 14 or whatever. You gotta give it to me. 50% of the time, can you do that? Come on, man. You can do that. So that is the thing that
you'd be jogging behind him into practice as his coach.
Yeah.
50%. Let's go.
Just need you.
50% effort.
It's one of those weeks, Daryl. One of those weeks, baby. Let's lock it in. Yeah, I'm a realist. I'm pragmatic. I got it. You don't have to get all crazy for Syracuse, but I need you locked in this week, Daryl. This is the week. Come on.
October, you could take a vacation.
Yeah. You'll be like Dennis Rodman during the Bulls run. You just end up in Vegas in the middle of the season for a week and a half. We're like, what is he? We're playing games. What are we doing? He needed a break. Greg writes, Jeff, I think our offense will be elite at many levels this year, or on many levels this year. But I still go back to last year, and he's thinking about how bad our kicker situation was. Horrible. And then he went on to say, still is. What are your thoughts on this? Well, I'd like a better situation at kicker as well. I'm hoping Etsu pulls this over into the good side. They don't have to be great. They just can't be an albatross. I felt like last year that situation for a lot of games, you went into a game with an albatross. I mean, you knew, you were like, man, really? I got to go for it every time we get inside the 30 because I can't trust this kid to make a chip shot. I got to go. I got to do the math in my head. It's 1st and 10 from the opposing 44. How am I calling this series? Well, it's 4 down territory because I'm not going to punt from here, and I can't trust my guy to kick. So the 3rd down call is made presumably that I'm going for it on 4th down. So yeah, I mean, it's a weird math to constantly have to do. It's tiring, it's exhausting, and it's also ridiculous.
I think the situation has stabilized, but it's never going to be a strength.
Well, not with the current, right.
Well, I think both combatants. I just don't know that you could count on anything outside of a chip shot range, but I do believe it is stabilized to the point where the chip shot is going to be a chip shot.
I agree. He got it together really late and made some, and we've seen him at practice make the 35-yarder without a problem.
Right.
So if that makes you feel better, guys, he is knocking those through pretty regularly.
For the most part. For the most
part. Well, he's not automatic now.
Correct.
Ain't nobody's.
This is not Aguayo 2013. No. We're never going to get there, but if you're stable enough that you know that if you get to a certain point of the field, a 14-point game, you can kick to go up 3 scores. That's what I need right there.
Yeah, and it's the little things that affect games like that, man. It's just knowing that you can't trust that you're going to walk away with points during a critical possession at the end of a drive to reward the 12 plays you just put together to get here. It just weighs on you, man. That is tough. And I feel like he called plays at times strangely, in that he was doing that math early on in games. First quarter, I'm like, oh man, we're already doing this. I don't like it. I don't like it. And it doesn't let you win the biggest games where you are by definition playing a team who is equal to your talent, and it's going to be close. And your ability to execute and get points whenever you're in the red zone is the difference in the game. Those games become about who turns it over and who doesn't, and who is efficient in the red zone. If 2 teams are equal, they're going to go back and forth, back and forth. Do I score when I have a chance to score? There are only so many opportunities. I got to get points on the board, and I got to know my kicker can make a 42-yard field goal.
Is the reason red zone inefficiency that Fabian Lovett was hurt. If you were efficient in the red zone, you have him for that stretch of 3 games. In all likelihood, I don't think he gets hurt in subsequent games. You can never know. But you'd have a better crack at winning those 3 games against ranked opponents if Fabian Lovett is in the fold. Hell, the Louisville game, I think, looks fundamentally different because you're not getting it run right at you from the word go. But red zone inefficiency puts you in a position where these things can happen, and you had to get lucky.
Yeah, you're alluding to the fact for people that don't know that because we couldn't put the game away for good against LSU, it meant that we ended up twice, and we had to end up keeping
2 goal-to-goes with 0 points.
We had to end up keeping 0 out on the field, so Fabian got hurt. That's no bueno.
Another guy who got hurt in that game is Mason Smith. We're going to have to talk about that because apparently, and not today necessarily, I'm just saying in the lead-up, he's declared that he's good to go, fully healthy. That kid was going to be a problem all game long.
Probably would have made a difference in that game. It was not lost on me that that was a devastating turn of events for them. When I saw him hobble, now I'm not rooting for injury, mind you, but when I saw it happen, I went, oh, that's a shame. Maybe you want to go rest that.
Come back next week.
For the rest of this game.
Yeah.
Chef Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
About 50 years, Paul's Termite and Pest Control has been protecting homes and businesses for thousands of people right here in the Big Bend, and we're quite proud of that. Fact is, all of us here at Paul's have families, and nothing is more important to us than their protection. By providing effective termite and pest treatments, we know we're aiding many right here in our community.
Paul's Termite and Pest Control performs many services designed for the protection of your family and your home. Programs like Pro Shield Complete, which encompasses termite and general pest control in one low-cost quarterly treatment plan. This program is environmentally friendly and is almost exclusively limited to exterior treatments, meaning pests and termites never enter your home. Termite programs like Centricon, a service which requires no invasive drilling or liquid applications. Plus, our lawn care team keeps lawns and ornamentals green and healthy.
Protection of your family, your home, and our environment all are very important to each of us at Paul's. To learn more about our many programs, please visit us at callpauls.com.
For the elimination of termites or any other pests.
And a greener lawn, too.
Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Discover the taste of Peru at Café de Martín and El Bar, a one-of-a-kind culinary and cocktail concept created by classically trained chef Martín Araujo. Con amor y pasión, with love and passion, Café de Martín is a fine Peruvian dining experience in an approachable, comfortable, cultural-rich space built for creating memories to last a lifetime. Enjoy happy hour daily with a full bar, handcrafted cocktails, beers on draft and bottle, paired with a selection of Peruvian tapas like crispy fried yuca with house-made huancaína sauce, carefully selected charcuterie boards, a selection of fresh ceviches, and so much more. It's Café de Martín and El Bar. Escape to Peru, a country of great culture, beauty, and food right here in the capital city. Café de Martín and El Bar on Capitol Circle Northeast in the Esposito Shopping Center. Open daily for lunch, happy hour, and dinner. Online at cafedemartin.com.
This is Kyle, Service Manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
At Pinch-A Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas, it's prime time hot tub season. And after a long, stressful day, there's nothing like soaking in a hot tub with all that steam. And it has lots of great health benefits, too. Pinch-A Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas is your true hot tub headquarters. Save today on the hot tub of your dreams at prices you can afford. Come and shop our 12,000 square foot showroom and find the right model for you. With over 50 hot tubs in stock, you're sure to find the one that's just right. And for a limited time, take advantage of a free spa cover with purchase of your new hot tub. That's around a $400 value, completely free with your purchase. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Pinch-A Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come see us at 2473 Greer Road. Pick out your hot tub and enjoy your free cover. You'll be glad you did.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
You know how, like, most of the time people lament that they can't run as fast as they once did, or they can't jump as high as they once did, or that if they do try to run as fast as they once did or jump as high as once did, they pull a muscle, they tear their calf. Like, I hate that part of aging, but I don't think I hate that part of aging more than just the random coughing fits that came out of nowhere once I got into my 40s and continue to worsen every year I get older. Just like you're standing in the supermarket and you're looking at butter. Well, for no reason whatsoever. I used to look at old people that did that and be like, what the hell's wrong with you? Get a grip. You got the immune system of a 12-year-old girl. Can we get it together? It used to drive me nuts. And now I'm that guy. And I can see everybody looking around. Like, look at this guy. He'd be dead in a week. I'm sitting there just looking at cabbage. Like, for no reason.
That is something that has always made me laugh and will always make me laugh. Even when it happens in, say, a golf tournament and you hear in the background on the TV broadcast,
somebody just they can't get it together.
They can't keep it together.
Can't keep it together.
It could happen in a baseball booth. It could happen in the press box. It always makes me laugh. My mom used to slap me in the arm is when I was a kid, raised Catholic, going to a 7 a.m. mass, as I too often did, you would hear in Clearwater, Florida, countryside,
Yeah.
a lot of older people just hacking it up in the different pews. Even the usher
Can't keep it together.
had a signature cough. Yeah. Like that.
Yeah.
And you know he was there. I'm like,
Right.
oh, Marv is here. That's good. Glad to hear Marv's still alive.
It's something, man. I mean, it comes out of nowhere. Happened just now during the Replacements bumper music. I was like, oh, good song. I'll let that play for a second because I'm coughing for no effing reason.
David said, lay off the weed.
But I mean, it just is out of nowhere. That's the problem with it. It's not like you're just sitting here talking, we're having a conversation, and you're like, oh, I can feel this coming on. I better, finish my point, get up and walk away, or whatever it might be. No, that's not how it happens. It's just like, you're like, and I'll tell you another thing, Johnny. It's crazy. Very frustrating. All right. I wanted to get back to something and I forgot what it was. Now I'm mad at myself for that lengthy diatribe about coughing. I think I know what it is. And
is it that Daryl Jackson could be coughing like that because he's been in college football at 7 institutions across 15 years?
No, I understand people's concerns. They passed, by the way, the initiative in the ACC, which allows for more money to be paid out to those who achieve on the football field. This makes no impact whatsoever. Right. This doesn't change anything about FSU and Clemson's efforts to get the hell out of here at all. But just so you know, I guess they feel like, they have to do something, and they have. So we'll see. And it's success initiatives pass, creating a new flow of potential revenue for ACC's big brands. This is David Hale. Now the hard part, being successful. Certainly would be ironic if Pitt and Wake end up collecting all that cash, is what he wrote. Now, he's chiding. They won't. They will not, David.
That's what the ACC media loves to harp on.
Mm-hmm.
Love to harp on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that won't happen.
They've grown into multimedia darlings. Pitt, Wake, all these other schools. It's amazing how many eyeballs are on the sets when Wake Forest is playing Pitt. Heads up. It's awesome.
I think I think at the end of the day, you're going to see lots of measures taken like this one by the ACC to suggest that they're working with the Clemsons and Florida States of the world towards a solution. And they may well be attempting to do that, but I do think it's a moot point. I don't think it's going to make a significant difference in revenue increase for the teams that are successful. And in particular, Florida State, let's say, if they were to be successful, that is the goal, certainly. I don't think it's going to make enough of a difference. If you make $3 million, $4 million, $5 million, $7 million more, it isn't going to change the gulf, the chasm between what you're making and what schools in the SEC and the Big Ten are making. So you can read those stories, nod your head, and it's the Christian Bale Kermit meme.
The new Brandel Chambly, Brad Faxon.
That's right. It was a great moment. The two of them just nodding. Mm-hmm.
They're Americans.
For your country.
Playing for your country.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was great. It was awesome. I was like, bravo, this is riveting television. This is what you would want. The producers had to be like, yes. It was fun. But yeah, no, that'll be that's it. It's just you and me nodding our heads going, great, good for them. Not going to change a thing. And now we go from here. I had a conversation, I'll put it this way, and I got to be very careful here because my new concern or my new focus isn't on, it used to be, okay, when will Florida State ratchet up, not just the rhetoric, but the actions behind the scenes?
The bite?
Yeah. When will they position themselves to begin a process to leave this conference in earnest? And I wanted to hear and see those kinds of things. I wanted evidence that those kinds of things were happening. And then out of nowhere, Athletic Director Alford during a Board of Trustees meeting that was live on YouTube, decided to lay it on the table and let everybody know what they thought of that situation. Good, because we all knew it, and we've all thought it, and we've all talked about it amongst each other. But I wanted somebody in a position of real power who had the authority to do something and say something about it to do so. Well, he did. Okay, that was good. So from there, I wondered, okay, would they back it up? Would we see further evidence of how serious they are? The answer's been yes, pretty much around every turn. So from here, what I want to see is something that hints to a timeline. And it's one thing to say, we know this is untenable. We know we can't be here. We know that something significant has to change for us to be able to compete for national championships and to survive in the current landscape. And to that end, I've placed calls and talked to people who have to some degree insight on this process. And let's just put it that way.
How is Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC? What's he up to these days? What did he tell you?
No, but you know what's good is that you check in with these people and you ask them and you compare notes. You know, you're just kind of like, well, here's what I've heard. And I talked to this booster and I talked to this administrator and I talked to this. But also people throughout the ACC. You want to talk to people who have connections to, say, another school in the ACC and start to ask them, like, well, what do they think about this? Or what are these, even schools that aren't with us on this? Schools like, you know, Georgia Tech. Like, Georgia Tech is screwed. Nobody's talking about bringing them in the fold. Nobody's talking about helping them. They're done dealing. They're broke as a joke. They don't win anything in anything that matters at all. They are screwed. So, like, what do they do next? Who do they talk to? What do they say?
They're the emo kid at the Thanksgiving table watching the fight about politics and sports.
Just sitting over there eating
and
their
just
potatoes.
sitting there and watching back and forth, watching it go.
Right. So Tech is, like, irrelevant athletically. And they're broke. And so it's like if they were being honest with themselves, and from what I'm told, they are, they would know, well, this is fruitless. I guess we'll stick around and try to collect as much as we can while we can. But yeah.
Some of our compatriots from a former life in radio that are just riding it out.
Yeah.
Let's see how long this can go.
So it's kind of like, you know, all right, you know, what are you going to do? There's going to come a day where they walk in and we're like, oh, the gravy train is no more. Now we got to go to where we've always been destined, to play a big matchup against Furman in front of 30,000 people. And it'll be a whale of a game. And it beats the hell out of going into our own stadium, playing men against boys and losing 58-7 every Saturday. I welcome our new overlords where competition is more evenly dispersed.
At Furman.
And places like it.
It's a good crowd.
Big matchup.
30K.
Big matchup between Georgia Tech and Western Michigan.
Appy State. Hey, man.
Great game against Western Kentucky. The Hilltoppers and Yellow Jackets getting after it this weekend in front of 15,000 strong.
Worse things than going to Boone to play a football game?
Oh, Boone's nice. Boone was nice way back when I used to go to Boone when I was in Johnson City. Used to drive on over to Boone on the regular. But yeah, man, that's a reality for a lot of programs at different Power 5 schools, where as you move forward, you realize we're not going to be a part of the big plan. We're not going to be part of that big group. The 3 20-team conferences that remain.
Just don't get grouped with Richmond. You will get destroyed.
The Spiders will beat that ass. Yeah, so it's like those programs also play a role in expediting this, like admitting, okay, well, when we all decide whether or not we're in or out, just so you all know, we're out. We're out. Our long-term plans are not to compete with Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, Alabama, Florida State, Clemson, you name it, Ohio State, Michigan, USC. We can't. We know it. We've accepted it. Sucks. Things happen. Let's go over here and take on Furman. We got a shot. We got a shot against Furman now. They've got to do that too. We're only looking at us because we're up here. But all those guys down there got to get with the getting and understand time's up.
Thank you for the direct deposit. Georgia Tech, you don't have to thank us. It's bound by law.
Yeah.
Contract law.
We just thought we'd thank you nonetheless.
Just appreciate it.
Very much so.
He's more than you know.
Yeah. I know, Georgia Tech. You just lost 56-0 to Wake. Never competitive.
Which is why we're thanking you.
Very, very much so. Yeah. So I'll be fascinated to see how that plays out as well. Big BC versus Liberty game, P. Simpson. You're right. That's a hell of a game. Liberty will spank BC, but yeah.
I just love the image of the Eagles against Liberty. That's something.
I feel like Dave Clawson was the type of kid to get passed a note in class, and he immediately goes and tells the teacher. Oh, that's pretty good, Daniel. That's pretty good.
He'd be very efficient at getting to the teacher, though. Really.
He would be efficient. He would defy the odds. Like if you'd mapped it out, I didn't think they'd get there. That's pretty impressive. He got there quicker than I thought you could. He took a different route.
You think he would hold the note in his friend's hand for as long as possible before making a decision?
What do I do?
And his friend gets uncomfortable.
Hold. I'll be so glad not to see that executed brilliance. It is. It's how they compete, and they do more than compete. They've beaten us way too many times. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. Stops this year. I'm going to remain consistent on this. I'm petty. I will run it up. If you have overstepped your bounds, don't understand who you are, then I'm going to put it on you when I get the chance. I got to beat you 56-0 and still throw in the fourth. I'm going to. Run it up. Resounding messages this year if you get the opportunity.
And if you were the head coach, you would try to kick the pylon through the uprights after one of the touchdowns in the fourth quarter. There's your extra point.
I would, yeah, man. It's the classic, why'd you go for 2 because you can't go for 3? That'd be me. I mean, we're doing it. I'm telling Dave before the game, don't get behind. Don't get behind now. Starters are staying in all 4. All 4. I'm throwing.
Testy exchange moments before the game today between the two head coaches. You don't often see that.
I would do the handshake, pull them close before the game. About to beat your ass unmercifully. Better keep your starters out there. I'm going to run it up. I'll onsides this thing up 38.
You walk away. You know it's coming, Dave. You know what's coming.
Yeah. It's going to get ugly. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, WarchantTV.
Your local news now.
A crash Monday evening killed 2 and injured 3. A Nissan was traveling south along Georgia 122 when a hydroplane caused the driver to lose control of the vehicle. The vehicle spun sliding south into the northbound lanes, colliding with a Kia driven by a Cairo High School student. The Kia's driver, 18-year-old Montana Carroll, and the Nissan's passenger, 24-year-old Max Battensby, both died. The 24-year-old Nissan driver and the Kia's passengers were taken to the hospital to get treatment for their injuries. Montana Carroll lost her life just days before graduation. Cairo High School will have a balloon release ceremony today, and students will honor her at graduation on Friday night. The beginning stages of demolition are underway to take down Gibbs Hall on FAMU campus as part of a campus-wide housing renovation push. The university already brought down the Truth Hall and the housing facility on Palmetto North Drive. The FAMU Board of Trustees approved $11 million to kick off construction of 3 new housing facilities. This is Rachel Anay with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by McLemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McLemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Cloudy this afternoon with a chance for scattered thunderstorms. High of 81. Winds out of the northeast, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Chance for scattered storms again tonight. Lows dip down to about 63. Partly cloudy skies. Highs around 84 tomorrow. Lots of sunshine. High of 81 Friday under partly cloudy skies. 80 Saturday. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 81.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. My man, Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the 3rd one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space. You got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, what you're saying.
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is. Gordo's bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
NASCAR?
No.
Denny McCarthy sounds more like a NASCAR driver than a PGA Tour.
Sound like a guy who's winning Jeff some money at the Charles Schwab this weekend is what he's going to sound like. Some other guys that are worth circling this week, depending on your roster. Perhaps a little Brendan Todd action. Pretty solid selection for the Charles Schwab.
So what you're telling me is this is a designated event this week. You've got Denny McCarthy and Brendan Todd.
No, actually, Scheffler's at this event. So is Tony Finau. So is Colin Morikawa. So is Jordan Spieth. So is, there's plenty of stars.
They must represent Schwab in some way.
Tommy Fleetwood's there. It's actually a good field. For whatever reason, it usually is. I don't know why. I think they like this event. I think they like the course, and I think it pays well, and it's in Texas, so it's good times. But all the Texas guys say yes. So Spieth always says yes, and Scheffler says yes, and guys like that. But it's a course for the Chris Kirks of the world as well, and you can get them on the cheap. You can get them on the cheap, man.
That's 3 names. Hope you wrote them down, people.
There you go. I get a lot of people who ask me about that every week, and I always forget to just float it out there to you. I gave you 3 because it's too easy for me to tell you to take Scotty Scheffler or Justin Rose or Tony Finau or any of those guys. Of course, you know that already, but that's not what wins these things. When you're betting, when you're making models, when you're deciding to win bets in DraftKings lineup or any of those types of endeavors, everybody else has those guys too. So you have to win with the $6,000 guys and the $8,000 guys and the $7,000 guys, not the $10,000 and $11,000 guys.
My one hope is that next time, and I'll always check this now, but if you hear your boy say that he's going to play Sungjae Im and he played the Korean Open, just let him know. Let your boy know.
I forgot. And when you did it later on, I realized it and I went, oh, he's screwed. Yeah, that's a toughie.
Took a whooping.
Well, you knew after day 1 it was over.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And 80 will do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had just played in the Korean Open, and while you admire him for doing so, and he won it, you admire him for doing it, but then he was flying in literally the day before the event.
12 hours before his tee time, jet lag from halfway around the world.
Good luck with that, Sungjae. Oh, by the way, the conditions are tough.
In fact, that's actually a pretty impressive 80 since he didn't see the course.
Yeah. Definitely not. Scott, not going to chant SEC during games once we join the conference. Oddly, I've gotten to where I want to join the conference. And this is what he wants me to think, and it's what he wants in the terms of a response. Partly just because I want to have opportunities to piss off Paul Feinbaum. And just because at every turn for the last 15 years before he was even known by people, when he was just local in Alabama, he was a guy that hated Bobby Bowden, hated Florida State. Now, that's one guy that in particular you can say absolutely does. That is real. He does hate Florida State. He wants no part of them in the SEC. It's going to hurt his feelings if we get an invite to the SEC. He would campaign against us joining the SEC. That's fine. I mean, I don't want to spend a lot of time on
I
this.
don't know anything about the Bowden days with him.
Oh yeah, no respect. I'll go back and find old articles. He's a hater.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You don't usually buy into that type of thing. So
Not
that's
at
why
all.
I find that remarkable.
No, normally I don't. I've had conversations with Paul. He doesn't like Florida State. That's all there is to it. He hasn't said, "Hey Jeff, I hate Florida State," but I mean, he's made it pretty obviously known. I mean,
Paul, how are you? I hate Florida State. How are you?
I think there are other programs he's not in love with either, but it's just that's fine. Everybody's got teams they love and hate, whatever. But
don't give us an extra 30 or 40 mil. Paul.
That's what he knows.
Mm-hmm. We're already in the conversation this year, running up a huge deficit against these other programs, and we are in that conversation, and we deserve to be.
For as much as I, kind of roll my eyes at the vast majority of mouth-breathing SEC fans, I will say that there's another aspect to that. The other side of the coin is that the venues are spectacular, and the passion is welcomed. We're that kind of passionate, meaning love our program, love our team, show up for games, build big stadiums, compete at the highest level. That is something we share with SEC fandom, programs, athletic directors, you name it. In that history, it's something, and also geographically, which we know, which is why the answer has always been, look, you don't have to love them. And I've never understood the waving the conference flag thing. I mean, I don't care about any other team in this conference, in the ACC. I want them all to suck. I only want Florida State to be good. I hope every team we play sucks to high heaven every year. Don't care about them. In fact, I kind of have disdain for them. They're the competition. Don't like them. I would never be like, oh, got to pull for the ACC here. No.
Only if it helps your standing in a 50-50
Correct.
argument.
Anything that helps us. It's all about what helps us.
That would be the thing. See, I don't trust the kids. So I think, when we sign a deal to get into the SEC, I think there needs to be a provision for the university, which is that during student orientation, it is taught to every way.
Yeah, you don't chant SEC.
We don't do that here.
Not here, no.
And that is a part of orientation. And it should be, what do they call that? University charter, code of conduct, whatever.
Right.
It needs to be a rule that it must be taught.
So competing things can be true simultaneously, all that, it happens all the time. I mean, I will tell you that I would love to go to a game, and I've been to a game there, but I'm saying as Seminoles, I would love to go to a game in Knoxville, love to go to a game in Tuscaloosa, love to go to a game in Athens, love to go to a game in Baton Rouge, would love to go to a game at the Grove at Ole Miss. I'd love to go. These would be a lot of fun. These would be destinations for away games that, we would absolutely embrace and enjoy.
Yeah, and you've lived here for how long? How many years now?
91 is when I got here.
32 years.
Yeah.
I've been here 17 years in Tallahassee. This is where the bias kicks in. As a citizen of this city, somebody who will always hold Tallahassee
near and dear to your heart. Yeah.
Just like Palm Harbor or Clearwater,
right.
Brooklyn, from where my family came from. I want this city to do as well as possible. Because sometimes, too often, the university takes the action to Orlando or Jacksonville or Atlanta and robs the opportunity from
do that.
The businesses of this town. Now you get the SEC here, and it's a windfall for the city. That would be humongous. The Big Ten would bring some, more than the ACC, but not nearly as much as the SEC would in terms of revenue. Other sports beyond football, people would get in their trailers and come on down here.
Yeah, man, I would have a blast. And even some of the sorrier programs in that league, or the sorriest programs in that league, still feature cities that are, look, you get to go to Nashville.
Yeah, man.
I'm in. Let's go. I love Nashville.
You get to go to Nashville for a win. You're going up there.
That's an automatic win, and you get to enjoy the city.
So we're going to have a good time. There's no pressure here.
Here, the one thing I will say, I haven't been to Nashville in the last 10 years, and I've heard it's become a little bit overcrowded. But I don't care. There's tons of live music. I'd have a blast. Americana all the way through. I'm in. Let's go. Let's have a good time. be like going to Austin. A lot of people in Austin are tired that keep Austin weird is not happening. Austin's beginning to be more mainstream and boring and overcrowded.
I fear for the Spider House. That place was so weird, and I can't be anymore. I can't imagine.
Yeah, right. So, that stinks. But I still want to go and visit and enjoy aspects of those cities, even as they wither away from their uniqueness, and have fun there. It would be, there's enough there that's still in place that, historically speaking, that you'd have a good time. And it's like when we went to New Orleans, I wanted to go to Baton Rouge instead of New Orleans, but there's a lot to do in New Orleans. I'll be there next month. But it's
why will you be there?
My birthday weekend, Tom.
Oh,
birthday weekend being in New Orleans.
You celebrate birthday weekend?
Every now and again. I don't look forward to it year round or anything like that. It just happens to be, just comes up. Other people are really looking forward to celebrating my birthday, so you got to go along with it. Hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with. My man Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space.
Well,
you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is. Gordo's bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Lawson & Lawson Electrical Services has been Tallahassee's preferred residential electrician for over 30 years. Hi, this is Rowdy Lawson, and we've earned our reputation because we care about our customers, about quality, and about providing great service. We stand by every job we do and consider it a privilege to work on a family project like a new house, a custom addition, or a green renovation. For all your residential or service projects, call the good guys, Lawson & Lawson Electrical Services, 562-4111.
The weather is unpredictable and can cause issues around your home. Weston Trawick provides commercial, residential, and industrial electrical wiring services, yearly inspections on fire alarms, portable generator sales, and so much more. With 24/7 emergency service and repair, Weston Trawick will be your calm in the storm. Give them a call at 514-0003. Weston Trawick. Professional electrical services day or night. Visit online at westontrawick.com.
Power Mill Training Academy equips motivated athletes focused on baseball and softball with the specific tools to reach their true potential. Now, you'll read that if you go to their website, but I'm here to tell you that, look, whether it's your daughter wanting to play softball, your son wants to play baseball, or maybe they just want to have fun and get the most, and that's where Power Mill comes into play. They've got coaches and camps that teach for every level of play for your son or your daughter. To learn more, go to PowerMillSports.com.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. The latest betting odds and live movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
Spencer Strider on the mound today for the Atlanta Braves. 4-1, 2.96 ERA. The Braves are the $2.10 home favorite against Bobby Miller, who's making his major league debut for the Dodgers, plus 185. 8.5 under the total at Truist Park. Tampa Bay Rays at $1.30 home favorite against Toronto plus 120. 8.5 under at Tropicana Field. Todd Bradley for the Rays. Jose Barrios for the Blue Jays. Kyle Larson, the plus 450 favorite to win the Coca-Cola 600 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. William Byron plus 550. Denny Hamlin is plus 650. Start betting smarter with the betting intelligence app, Juice Reel. Download the free app today, Juice, REEL. For more sports betting news and information, go to VSIN.com. Mike Son at Real Talk 93.3.
Do you know what brand sells the most work shoes in America? Skechers. Why? Skechers has the best looking safety toe and slip resistant shoes around. They've got superior quality and simply incredible prices, but many people get them just for the style. So you can enjoy tough steel toe protection and slip resistant soles anywhere, even if you don't need them for work. And since they're Skechers, you know they're going to be comfortable with Skechers exclusive air-cooled memory foam. Find your new pair of Skechers safety toe and slip resistant work shoes at a Skechers store, at Skechers.com, or wherever work shoes are sold.
Two guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same two guys drove home. One guy wore his seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Someone who thought texting was a better idea than stopping for a traffic light slams into your rear bumper. Now your back is injured and you've got to be at work and rehab all without a car. I'm Dana Brooks of Basic Brooks Law Offices, and we hear stories like this every day. You shouldn't pay for someone else's mistake. Call us at 850-777-7777 and we'll make sure you come back stronger.
Discover the taste of Peru at Café de Martín and El Bar, a one-of-a-kind culinary and cocktail concept created by classically trained chef Martín Araujo. Con amor y pasión, with love and passion, Café de Martín is a fine Peruvian dining experience in an approachable, comfortable, cultural-rich space built for creating memories to last a lifetime. Enjoy happy hour daily with a full bar, handcrafted cocktails, beers on draft and bottle, paired with a selection of Peruvian tapas like crispy fried yuca with house-made huancaína sauce, carefully selected charcuterie boards, a selection of fresh ceviches, and so much more. It's Café de Martín and El Bar. Escape to Peru, a country of great culture, beauty, and food right here in the capital city. Café de Martín and El Bar on Capitol Circle Northeast in the Esposito Shopping Center. Open daily for lunch, happy hour, and dinner. Online at cafedemartin.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Had the opportunity to talk about the news that came down regarding the Pac-12 yesterday, specifically with Washington State's administration ceasing to operate athletically with their budget and plans moving forward for facilities, raises, coaches, player, you name it, all of it. It sounds like the Pac-12 is in the process of collapsing right before our eyes. Really an amazing thing to watch, amazing thing to be a part of, to be sitting here watching college football shift to this degree. And, of course, it's been the topic du jour for us here over the last year. It's going to continue to be until there's a resolution that is satisfactory financially for FSU, period. And it's also going to continue to be the conversation, annoyingly so, because conferences like the Big Ten and the SEC are dictating terms, and they're not going to stop anytime soon. It doesn't appear. And every time you think that they will, they don't. So now we see this, and the Big 12 is very active as well. Their commissioner, very aggressive. It is clear the Big 12 has decided they want to be the third power conference, if you will, when the dust settles. The Big 12 is aggressively trying to say to the the ACC and the Pac-12, you guys are done. We're next. We're in. We're going to still be here. We're going to take this team and that team and this team, and we'll be the last one standing. No, we won't be the Big Ten. No, we won't be the SEC. But we're going to be better off than you and you. And that's what you're witnessing now.
Well, and their strategy is a sound one. If you can have the Titans of the now, then go get the markets that are only going to grow.
Grab Orlando, grab Houston, yes, I got you.
If you're going to take a swing, this is how you do it. It makes a ton of sense.
So the story today is that the ACC will launch a, quote, success initiative or incentive initiative, I should say, starting in 2024, 2025, and that will distribute additional league payouts to schools based on teams' performances in revenue-generating postseason play. That, according to reports today, you want to cite whomever you want. All the people who cover this league have reported this, so I'm giving credit to all of the people that cover this league. There you go. I don't know who got it right first, but it's been out for about an hour now. The ACC Board of Directors announcing today that this is passed. This is a thing. It's real. It's new. This isn't just something that was speculated about anymore. It's something that now has happened. Unequal revenue sharing, of course, has been the topic in this conference since earlier this year when our administration, our athletic department, Florida State specifically, said, this ain't good. And they made it known. They weren't going to sit idly by. They couldn't afford to. Later, schools like Miami and Clemson and North Carolina directly expressed their grievances over the ACC's revenue gap with the SEC and the Big Ten. Obviously, we just got done documenting last week where it was brought up yet again in a rather terse exchange amongst several athletic directors at the ACC spring meetings in Amelia Island. The next day, most of those same individuals stood down and offered praise and support for Commissioner Jim Phillips and their efforts to change the financial payouts for its league teams and those that have success. Now, none of the details regarding the incentives and how they'll be determined have been officially released, but it is said that they will be solidified, quote unquote, according to the ACC, in the coming months, which means when we go next up on the horizon, folks, just so you know the timeline, because lots of you have asked about when will we know and what will we know next. Well, the next logical time and place in which you'll get information of interest to you is going to be Charlotte, North Carolina in July. When I'm there and Tom is there and most of the Warchant staff is there and other collective ACC media outlets are there. The ACC Board of Directors, quote, and this is according to Duke President Vincent E. Price. And he goes by Vincent E. Price. You better not forget that E. The ACC Board of Directors continues to be committed to exploring all potential opportunities that will result in additional revenues and resources for the conference. He chairs the ACC Board of Directors, if you're wondering why he's talking. Today's decision provides a path to reward athletic success while also distributing additional revenue to the full membership. Okay, again, I'm going to reiterate. It is likely not going to be enough. The turmoil and the tension and all the stuff that came out of those spring meetings certainly led to this. there has been the discussion about whether or not any of these schools, Florida State being the one we're talking about, can get out from under the grant of rights through 2036. Virginia Tech athletic director Whit Babcock said this to the Richmond Times-Dispatch and our old friend,
Mr. David Teal.
That is correct. I think it was less than ideal that it came out, but it's been a catalyst for some real conversation and maybe getting to things a little faster than what we've been working on as the ACC. He's talking about all the turmoil and the terse discussions and the arguments behind. He wishes that hadn't gotten out, but maybe it led to this. Yeah, maybe it did. Probably did.
The issue is Florida State and Clemson are asking for a promotion, and they got a cost of living raise.
That's right.
So that's where we are.
If you go again and do what we did before this vote and before this was approved and say, what does it all mean? And you take the big picture approach about long-term solutions and having that larger discussion, this doesn't mean anything. And I hate that. I hate that, progress, however incremental it may be, really doesn't mean anything. Generally speaking, that's not true, but it is here.
Oh, it's far too late. It's too little. It's too late. The question is, and perhaps this is the diabolical wing of the JCS PR firm. I don't know if I've told you about this wing of the company, but it's a concept I wanted to present to you, so I'm doing so now.
Thanks.
If you were Florida State, would you drop the hammer whilst the ACC kickoff was going on?
Wouldn't that be fun?
Be it whatever it is, a release, a press conference, something more. Would you wait until those 3 days in order for maximum exposure?
Depends on what your plans are, what you're planning to do. If you're just reiterating something you've expressed countless times prior to the meetings, I don't know that you need to do anything. You don't need to say anything while you're there other than just go along to get along until you're ready to drop the hammer.
Well, and there are no athletic directors or university presidents at the football kickoff. It is, I don't know that I've ever seen one there from Florida State in the years I've been
The athletic director?
I don't think they go. It's just coach and players.
Yeah, you see coaches, you see players, you see, obviously, other media.
And obviously, the athletic directors aren't ever made available in that situation, in that setting either. But I'm just saying, wouldn't it be interesting? Florida State, we're looking for them. They're not here. We're up there at the Westin.
They're not
Where the
here.
hell are they?
Yeah.
Where the hell are they?
Yeah.
There's a press conference scheduled in Tallahassee for 2 p.m. Oh, my God. That would be something.
Yeah, it'd be crazy. It'd be cool. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's get there. I can't. These stories are necessary to highlight, talk about, note. It matters. It's something that is collectively discussed in the world of college football. And since we discuss college football and we look at the big picture and we talk about the landscape and what is and what isn't happening, that's good and bad for Florida State, or how as it relates to Florida State, you got to talk about this stuff. But again, the underlying theme to me is that none of this is going to make any difference whatsoever long-term for Florida State and their ability to compete against the Big Ten and the SEC. And they're one of only 2, 3, I don't know, I guess that's not true. There's probably 7 teams, maybe eight that really share Florida State's desire to compete for national championships and have invested accordingly.
Maybe it might be a bit
yeah.
It might be a bit of a stretch, but I don't know that 8 of them have a home. That's in the Power 2. That's the issue here. If they all had a Power 2 landing spot, this would have been done. And that's what, when the Magnificent 7 thing came out last week, I felt like with Louisville not among the programs listed when McMurphy actually named the names.
And then they were the following day, but yeah.
They must have a home. These 7 schools must have a destination that has been agreed to, because Louisville would most certainly be on this list of teams that are interested to leave.
Sure.
Because they're invested in doing so.
Yeah, that's going to be throughout the summer. I don't know that we're going to get a lot. You're going to listen every day, and you're going to read, and you're going to look around. You're going to talk to people to hear, are we getting something here? Are we getting closer to something here? Are we moving towards? Are we on the right track towards making some sort of grand proclamation?
Well, I think you're correct to lead with the Pac-12 part. I was just getting used to saying Pac-12 instead of Pac-10. It makes me sound like an old timer, but I was so used to Pac-10. But it's the imminent demise of the Pac-12 as we knew it that is going to impact us a hell of a lot more than a couple extra bucks for making the playoff or winning the ACC.
That story that came out yesterday, I thought it was incredibly, I don't know, it was overlooked to some extent. I mean, like, it didn't occur to anybody that was a shocking thing to hear from a university representative to say that, we can't get a TV deal done. It's not looking good moving forward. We're going to have to shut things down. I mean, geez. Washington State has had some athletic success. They're not nobody. I mean, they're not major players, but they are a program of some success.
These athletic departments don't stuff things away for a rainy day. You got to spend it as you make it. So if there's no revenue coming in and your projections say nothing, I mean, you can't really be flying on a private jet to go secure a recruit. That's what that's about. And we saw, I mean, shoot, to a degree, that's what David Coburn and his function was here at Florida State not that long ago, because the pandemic happened. Football sucks. There's no season ticket revenue. There's no football revenue to speak of. So you have to release something like this. You got to tighten the budget. There have to be budget cuts and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I thought in that moment, wow, this is going to be an indicator to the Big 12. Now is your time. That's what I thought. I thought, okay, look, you have a very aggressive leader of the Big 12 wanting to matter moving forward, wanting to be able to aggressively pursue other members that long-term they feel good about. I'm like, here you go, man. It's happening. The Pac-12 is in trouble. There are programs admitting openly to the press they're no longer going to fund certain sports, or they're no longer investing in their coaches. I mean, think about all those coaches that are now in the Pac-12. Okay, you got a job in the Pac-12, and you were just told you can't compete. We don't have any money. We don't have a TV deal. We don't have anything. Nobody cares about us. We're done. So you're a dead man walking. You're out there. You got nothing. You're looking to get jobs, these guys are all going to be on phones with agents and others like, hey, I hear Alabama pays $1.2 million for me to sit in a closet and study film at Week 7's opponent. I'm in.
That's exactly what they do. Yes. It's a very nice closet.
Yeah.
But it's a closet.
But I'm saying like that,
I think our radio analogy holds. You might be a DJ for the rock format, and you're seeing through the window over to the top 40 format. There's a tough conversation going on in the top 40. Oh, my goodness. Am I next? And that's Georgia Tech. That's Georgia Tech looking across the country and saying, oh, boy. Oh, boy. How many more of these checks can we clear before we have to be the next Wazoo?
Yeah. That was the athletic director, by the way, Pat Chun, who informed the athletic staff at Washington State on Monday that there was going to be a freeze. The email, that had to be a tough one to get, read in part that they were implementing a hiring freeze across all athletics, and that there would be, quote, Tom, a pause on non-essential travel. There would be a pause on all purchases. It's like me talking to my wife. There would be a pause on new professional development.
She doesn't strike me as that type.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Well,
I'm kidding. She does.
But really.
Yeah. Kirk Schultz announced Monday that the school will conduct a, quote, thorough review due to unexpected and, quote, tremendous headwinds regarding their athletic budget. I'm going to use that phrase from here on out. We're experiencing tremendous headwinds. We thought we were going to be able to do this by July, but it is not to be. These headwinds are something. We're not going to get there, guys.
That's one for the binder.
Mm-hmm. The Pac-12, they're on the hook for $50 million in overpayments by a TV partner stretching back years. Did you know that? They got to pay back all this money. What a mess. Partly also because of the relocation of the Pac-12 headquarters out of San Francisco. It exceeded their budget. They spent too much in moving.
Oh, man.
And now they're all like, well, God dog it, we don't have a place to play. Nobody cares, and we owe money. It's not just that we're not getting any money. We owe money.
Should have hired Bruce Warwick. He would have moved you in the dead of night for cheap.
The overpayments of $50 million that nobody caught, apparently, for some extended period of time. Hey, wait a minute. We've been overpaying these cats. We need to get some of this back. It's in the millions. How much? $50 million. That means that it will cost 12 teams, sorry. What, 4 point something million dollars a team?
That's right. Yep.
Whew.
Ouch. Very ouch. But now it's not just the clarion call to the Big 12. It's also to the Big 10, who, did you find it interesting that Pete Thamel and ESPN are the ones that are reporting about the Big 10's issues with their TV contract?
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Really? Yeah.
Couldn't have been Fox Sports that reported that. Had to be ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
But even though they're going through their own issues to finalize night games in November and, a rounding error here or there, because that's all that is if it's $40 or $50 million to these schools. It's not great, but you can pay that off quick. Even with all those discords, look, man, now is your chance to go grab some more regional opponents for USC and UCLA, and they have no leverage. You could bring them in probably for cheaper for the first few years before they vest to a full share.
My favorite part of this story, and again, I think we should all be paying close attention to what's going on with this, because you're right. This has triggered the Big 12, the Big 10, the SEC to kind of like, all right, what's going on? Do we need to make a move? ESPN and Fox. All right. Right after that story was originally published, this cracks me up. Washington State's SID, his name is Bill Stevens, told the senior associate director of athletics and CFO, Brent Meyer, that they have tendered their resignation. They're out. We're done. My work is done here. I'm out. And Washington State accepted the resignation. They accused him and others of a mismanagement of their budget.
Oh, dear God. So basically, if you're in Pullman doing radio today, first,
oh my goodness,
God bless you.
Yeah, tough times.
Second, it's where do we begin? Where to start? Because that's a mess of the highest proportions.
You could have a collective cry.
That's going to be your A block?
Yeah. Let's all join hands and collectively cry.
No pig suey after it.
Normally, I'm able to perhaps point towards a path of redemption. I could highlight ways in which we're able to find our way back on sturdy ground, sturdy footing. I got nothing for you today, guys. We're effed.
Or you could just, report the news of the resignations and then say, I too am resigning right here and right now. Goodbye, everybody. This is my final broadcast. I'm going to go cover a team that has a pulse. Take it easy, Pullman.
It's that's brutal. But again, I think we're going to continue to watch now to see who comes in and picks off these teams and what else is developed. Who knows? The story has changed a lot. It continues to be a fluid situation, as they say. But man, it's happening quickly is my point. All this stuff is happening very quickly. You go back to the Board of Trustees meeting, starting with the things that were said there, and then the outcry and the thoughts of where do we go, what do we do, money, and all these other questions. Then we look around and you're just talking about your place in the landscape of college football and what is it going to be in 2024, 2025, 2026. And then you see, again, the Big Ten making moves, the SEC making moves. Now we hear about the Pac-12 not being able to secure a deal and that there's mismanagement and there's money owed and it seems like a pending collapse. And that would lead to people, looking for a place to land, as you say. So, they've got an aggressive Big 12 out here like, oh, don't mind if I do. So I would guess that it's going to, in some way, certainly impact long-term.
Here's the business prediction. Is Washington and Oregon are offered full share status by the Big 12 and a partial share that vests by the Big 10, and they got to make a choice. That's just a throwing a dart at a dartboard with a blindfold, but it feels like that's where that's going because they're sought after. But the Big Ten has, real leverage here to say, where are you going to go? Big 12 for a full share? Sure. Come on in for 65% for 3 years.
You got to wear it for 3 years.
And then video show. and then you vest.
Yeah, then you're good.
You take the Big Ten deal. You'd be crazy not to.
I would, yeah, man. Yeah, it's going to be fascinating. Going to be very fascinating. I'm enjoying this to some degree. I wish it weren't necessarily so. I wish that things had been, say the NCAA had been a little bit more proactive, and any number of things could have been avoided that have kind of, to some degree, altered a sport that I love to become something else. And I'm still going to love it. It's just different. And there are aspects of it I'm not in love with right now. So it'll be fascinating. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
At Pinch-A Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas, it's prime time hot tub season. And after a long, stressful day, there's nothing like...
What's up, guys? Our next partner that you're going to hear from is Athletic Greens. You've heard me talk about Athletic Greens in the past. Happy to talk about them again. I take Athletic Greens every day. And I gave them a try because certainly I wanted more energy, sustained energy. I wanted to support my immune system. I don't like taking pills and vitamins per se. And I wanted something that tasted good too. And the first time I tried it, I was very surprised. It had an appreciable effect on my energy levels. And also, over time, you'll note that it helps your skin, your hair, your nails. I don't have a lot of hair, but if I did, I bet I could feel that. I bet I could tell. It's a comprehensive health habit, and it is a powerful one at that. AG1 is great for recovery. That's Athletic Greens. And I take mine basically when I wake up every morning. I don't have to worry about it because you get all the nutrients that you want. It's the best way to ensure that you're going to get all of your vitamins. It's a carbon-neutral business, by the way, if that's important to you. It is to a lot of people, and that's good to know as well. I would also note that it is a comprehensive solution to what you need from a supplement routine. Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs right now with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/JCS. Helps me out, guys, if you use that. Not financially, but it lets them know that you heard this ad on my show. And I do take it, and I am vouching for them because I enjoy their product. It's athleticgreens.com/JCS. Check it out. I think you'll note the difference in your life with a simple drink each and every morning to start your day. athleticgreens.com/JCS.
Restaurants in town. Next time you're out to eat, try asking for Grassroots Coffee by name because there's a good chance they will have it for you. And if you own a business, Grassroots Coffee has options to stock your break rooms with all the productivity powder your team needs. Plus, like some other options that you'll find at work, Grassroots Coffee actually is a part of our community. Hit grassrootscoffee.com today and get yourself a treat. Some locally owned, locally roasted, and locally loved Grassroots Coffee.
I can't wait for what's next. Even with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, the Pixaban tablets, reduces stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist-prescribed blood thinner. Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
They're an NFL assistant, former Virginia Tech All-American, Anthony Midget. And I do like that Florida State continues to try to add to their off-field staff. It is the norm throughout most of these successful programs all over the country to have seemingly an excess number of coaches that are, quote, in an off-the-field role. Yeah, got to do it. Analysts are important.
Gives you more time to recruit or do whatever it is you need to do.
He was most recently a defensive backs coach in the NFL with the Tennessee Titans and Houston Texans. Was with the Titans 2020 through 2022 and the Texans 2018-2019. Took over as the Texans secondary coach in 2018. He was Houston assistant secondary coach for 4 seasons as well. Worked in college as a safeties coach at Penn State under Bill O'Brien. Then went to Georgia State in 2012 as previous to that, 2012 as the team's defensive coordinator. So there you go. A rich history in the sport. Got to start in coaching as a high school assistant in the state of Florida. There's the connection there. Spent 5 years as a high school coach before getting his first college opportunity. Was a grad assistant at Virginia Tech. Florida State entering its 4th season, obviously with Mike Norvell. Is in a good place and will open the season against LSU. Tom, don't know if you know it. September the 3rd, buddy.
Is that right?
Also, Michigan State, Penn State going to play a neutral site primetime kickoff game Black Friday at Ford Field in Detroit. The game will be on NBC. Kickoff set for 7:30.
Isn't it fun to see how the NFL and college have taken the gloves off in terms of scheduling? The only thing that's left now for college to do is to put more games on the Sunday of Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
We are the primetime game.
Yeah,
we should be.
We are, yeah.
But there's no rule against having a noon kickoff and a 3:30 kickoff on the Sunday of Labor Day weekend. You know, they load us up on Saturday.
Get it on.
But why don't you space it out a little bit? Come on, we got to celebrate. The NFL is now putting a game on Black Friday. The NFL is expanding all the time what days of the week they play the games. You know, the months. They're doing the flex out of the Thursday night schedule this year now for the first time last 4 or 5 weeks of the season.
Yep.
Come on, college. Let's get that Sunday triple header. I'd love to be at a tailgate in Orlando. Well, I'd love to be watching college football the day of Florida State and LSU. I don't know if I'd love to be at a tailgate in Orlando, but you get the point.
Also, on the note of college football, and because this makes me smile just saying it aloud, the NCAA football video game details are beginning to leak ahead of the 2024 release, buddy.
Yep. And so you tech geeks out there that take the time to build the rosters, you've got to build this team's roster for next year. We've got to be able to enjoy the fruits of the transfer portal and the battle's end, their labor, so we can play with that loaded team next year.
So they've got new user interface screens, and according to people who've seen the menus and user interface screens, it is going to be welcomed as an embrace. It's a long-awaited build-up, obviously. I saw something where the Athletics' Ari Wasserman noted that he was shown proprietary material, but he had to sign a non-disclosure agreement, so he has to talk kind of in code about the things that he's seen. And they were asking how often I see this happen in recruiting, or should we do this or that? And I will tell you, because I've seen kind of some of the back of the interfaces of what they're working on the staff. It's going to be awesome. And awesome, said Wasserman to Andy Staples. They're doing it in a way where you're not just going to get a Madden engine with the college uniform.
Whoa, that's important. Everybody assumed that was going to be the case.
Quote, they're really trying. I think the reason why they delayed it a year was that they wanted to make sure that the game finally made its return and it wasn't just a crappy knockoff of Madden football. The dynasty mode and recruiting and rankings and territories and all the things that we talk about all the time in college football are represented in the game now. There will be as well transfer portals for players in the new game. EA Sports Vice President and GM Daryl Holt told ESPN last year that improving the game after a near decade-long hiatus has been a major undertaking considering how much college football has changed since the last release of the game, which, by the way, was in 2014. We've been out here wandering in the wasteland since 2014.
Among the gaming community, I was just out of college at the point that it was still at its pinnacle. And even in that time and all the way to today, in the gaming community, it was just thought that NCAA was the previous year's Madden in terms of the game engine.
Right.
But with an expanded playbook for college football, which had more variety, a ton more variety at the time. You know, obviously the NFL has grown since NCAA football last existed as a video game, but that was the principal difference. You had a button to pitch a ball on an option. That didn't exist in Madden.
Right.
Nobody ran that.
Right.
But what I find interesting, I said this today on social, but, you know, NCAA football was awfully aggressive in the transfer part of the offseason 10 years ago. You'd lose guys left and right, especially in the online dynasty. They'd go to your rival.
Yeah. Like, what is this nonsense?
It was crazy.
I'd be like, Terry, I started you every game last year. What the hell are you so upset about?
Yes. I lost a couple of guys I'm still hurting over in Conference USA years and years ago.
You're like, no, Wilson was my
Wayne
go-to
Wade.
guy.
I lost Wayne Wade.
Wayne Wade.
Still pissed about it. He went to our boy Chris. Went to UCF. He left Houston to go to UCF.
What are you doing,
punk?
Yeah.
What are you doing? But it was almost
Punk
like
ass Wade.
NCAA was predicting the future because it was way more aggressive than reality. That never happened in reality in those days.
I always pushed it too. I always courted NCAA violations with the way that I recruited. I was dirty. I was trying to take everybody. Offering cash, you name it. Come on.
Was there a cheat code?
Trying to win some games around here. I intentionally made all of my guys on both the offensive and defensive line and also linebacker. Middle linebacker, not outside linebacker. Very specific. And fullback wear black tape around their ankles. I wanted us to appear slower than we really were. One receiver was allowed to do it, and it had to be the fastest receiver. Visors, fullbacks, linebackers. All the rest of you, no visors.
Neck rolls?
Linebackers, fullbacks, neck rolls. That's it. Nobody else got a neck roll. These things really don't do anything, by the way. I don't think neck rolls have ever helped anybody in any way, shape, or form.
Did you play with one?
I tried. They don't do anything. It doesn't change anything. I took it off within 2 games.
You didn't feel like the Boz?
No, everybody wanted to look like the Boz. Everybody went and got a neck roll. Everybody tackled with those things on, thinking it was going to help them and aid their neck from snapping. Man, it doesn't. It doesn't do anything. It just looks cool.
My team's got a designated number. And so for Houston, for the first good player I had was number 3. Might have been number 5. I forget now. But then subsequently, with my program, the best player got to wear that number.
Oh, nice.
Started with Ernest Miller,
Yeah.
an actual safety that played for Houston.
Mhm.
And then you get into the fictional players as time goes on. But I called him Ernest the Cat Miller.
The cat.
After the wrestler.
Of course.
From WCW.
And every time Ernest the Cat Miller made a play, you would cry out, "There's the cat!
Yep.
There's my man making a play!"
He had a 72 catch rating for a safety, which is really good. So I put him in the slot. He played 2 ways.
Oh, no, Dad. My kicker was always renamed Jeff Cameron. You're wrong for that. You are wrong for that. Thorin wants to know, Jeff Cameron, do you think this offense could have similar numbers to Winston's elite 2013 offense? Hear me out. Hear me out. Better.
That offense produced over 50 points a game.
could be better.
That's what's so insane about that offense. It's running at a pace akin to Army in terms of possessions and plays.
Slow as hell, efficient as hell, but dominating.
The defense was good to spot you 10 a game, whether they scored
That's what
or
I
they gave
meant.
you a
That's
short
what I
field.
mean. I mean, I feel like some of those numbers are skewed a little bit because the defense would score, and it was ridiculous. Short fields and everything else. I don't think they will surpass those numbers, but I think when you're talking about, because we play so much faster and the ability to, in terms of yardage and things like that, yeah, they could be better in some areas. Would not be surprising at all. Again, depends on how bad. Really, the point thing is going to come down to how badly do you want to beat people on this schedule, because you have opportunities to just beat the bejesus out of people. I mean, there's some games on here that are just not going to be competitive.
This offense could be more explosive than the 2013 offense. I know that sounds like fighting words, but I think you've got more explosive running backs. Devonta Freeman was excellent, but he wasn't explosive. He wasn't a house call every time he touched the ball.
And listen, just remember, I mean, just because, let's say they do have some better numbers in areas, it doesn't mean they're a better team or a better offense. It just means the numbers are better. Yeah, I mean, the game's changed.
The era we live in.
Yeah, the rules have changed in favor of offenses. There's all kinds of things. I mean, so game by game last year, lest people forget, Florida State really dominated some games. You had a 40-point win over Duquesne. Could have been 100 points, but, that's what it was. Well, I'm trying to think. Let's see here. Let's go back to
back half of the schedule is littered with them. Starts with Georgia Tech.
Golly, I was thinking the year before we lost to Georgia Tech 16-13. Remember that?
Oh, that was
2020.
2020.
2020.
It was James Blackman touchdown drive to start the season.
That's right.
The weather delay.
Yeah. Good God, man.
Jeff Sims beat us.
But yeah, you had a ton of lopsided games. The Syracuse games lopsided, but just a ton of games. You could name your score in a lot of these games last year, and like 6 or 7 of them. I think the same will be this year. This year, what do you have? Southern Miss, is that right? Second week.
Southern Miss. Yep.
You've got Boston College after that. Obviously, it'll be a close game against Clemson in all likelihood. I think you could really put it on Virginia Tech. You could really put it on Syracuse. The Duke game will be better than people think because Duke's well coached. Elko's good. They're playing hard. They won 8 games a year ago. They play good defense too, so it'll be interesting. I think you could really put it on Wake Forest finally. I think you could really put it on Miami as you did a year ago, 45-3. You could really put it on North Alabama. I think the Pitt game will be relatively close, and then we're on the road at Florida. We'll see what Florida is at the end of the year.
Yeah, how invested they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have real opportunities here to just hammer some folks. You could score 60. You could score in the 60s against North Alabama very easily.
Oh, done. Yeah. Yeah. North Alabama, Southern Miss.
I got to catch up on Southern Miss. Southern Miss is weird. Sometimes they're good.
Sometimes. It'd be just like us to have them on a short week in a year they're good. I doubt it, though.
Southern Miss, did they get, let's see, I'm looking for like opponents here.
Southern Miss W's and L's?
In 2022, Southern Miss, so last year, Southern Miss got beat 30-7 by Miami. But they were in that game for much of the half, or a half. I remember that.
They were.
Well,
I'm sure they were.
Miami had to run a trick play.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
You're effing kidding me. We got to break this out now.
Tyler Van Dyke was 20 of 29 for 261, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
He had to throw 29 times against Southern Miss?
Yeah. Restrepo had 6 receptions for 72 yards.
Restrepo. Ernesto.
The Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Governor Ron DeSantis, long seen as Donald Trump's leading rival for the Republican nomination, plans to launch his 2024 presidential campaign today in an online conversation with Twitter CEO Elon Musk.
In choosing to announce with Musk, DeSantis is linking his presidential announcement to one of the world's richest men who has emerged as a conservative cult hero of sorts. The 44-year-old two-term governor would be joining a crowded Republican contest to decide whether the party will move on from Trump in 2024. DeSantis has embraced Trump's combative style in many of his policies, but casts himself as a younger and more electable version of the former president. Earlier Tuesday, the Florida governor gave no hints of his 2024 plans during a short cabinet meeting in Tallahassee, where he discussed state business with agency heads. The meeting was barred from covering a subsequent bill signing ceremony. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Cloudy this afternoon with a chance for scattered storms. Highs level off around 81. Northeasterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Chance for scattered thunderstorms tonight. Lows level off around 63. Partly cloudy. Tomorrow, highs level off around 84. Partly cloudy skies Friday with a high of 81. 80 Saturday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 80.
Hey, folks, it's me, Mac and More, spokesperson for Tallahassee's favorite Apple and Mac product store, Mac and More. We all know what Mac is all about. It's your MacBooks, iMacs, Apple Watch, iPhones, iPads. We've all got them. But what's really cool is the and more. And there's a lot more at Mac and More. They can help set up your new gear, migrate and back up your data, teach you new tricks, and how to use everything better. And if something costs too much to fix, they'll tell you the truth. There's a lot more at Mac and More. See for yourself at MacandMoreSystems.com. Or you can take it from me, Mr. Mac and More.
My man, Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space.
Well,
you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinking. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
What it is, it's time to relax. Our friends at Pinch a Penny, go over there off of Greer Street and check out the over 50 hot tubs that they have in stock right now. It's a lot. And here's the thing, man. You can get a new tub, have it installed, covers and all that good stuff, for as little as $99 a month with installation and the covers included, buddy. $99 a month. I may do it. Pinch a Penny, Greer Street. Go check it out.
You bring Benny. I'll bring the Jets.
That's terrible. Oh, man. Also, oddly, I hate that song. My most hated Elton John song.
Oh, really?
Hate it.
More than Crocodile Rock?
Oh, that's a terrible song, too. He's got plenty of terrible songs. He's got a lot of great ones, too. It's a weird canon.
I'm okay with all of it.
Oh,
it's him. It's who he is.
Benny and the Jets is terrible. It's a terrible song. So is Crocodile.
Him as a person, he can all at once bring you to your knees. But then look at him. Look at the glasses. One comes with the other.
No, I get it. I'm not trying to stifle his creativity, Tom. I just don't have to love it all. It's a bit much. Hey, Power Mill will help your child. You got a young man, young lady getting ready to go through. Hey, today's the last day of school for a lot of people. Last day, kiddos. Oh, boy, do I remember this day in my youth.
The roads are crowded earlier in the day.
Let me tell you something, buddy. There was no better feeling in your youth than going to school on the final day and everybody singing schools out for summer and all that with Alice Cooper.
We did not.
We all sang it at the top of our lungs. It was incredible. Anyhow, I would just tell you that was a special feeling. You're just all kind of walking around pointing at each other like, this is it? That's it? Yeah. Oh, out of doing nothing.
Yep. And you have to schedule the pool parties and birthdays.
Man, it was great.
You did. You had the summer birthday.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think the very first party I remember my parents had for me for a collection of kids that I went to school with might have been like 6 or 5 or something like that. And
that early?
Yeah, I think it's 6 or maybe 6 or 7. And I got in trouble at my own party and got sent to my room. At my own birthday party.
You pushed somebody?
No, I think I cursed at a kid and it was overheard by one of the parents. And I think I said something probably wildly inappropriate.
The first big thing we did, I think it was 1992 or 1993. I was in kindergarten. It wasn't a birthday party. We just had a bunch of kids over. This will mark the times for us. We got a bunch of Bigfoot pizzas from Pizza Hut, and we turned on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live action movie.
What a day. What a day.
That was a day. It was a pool party, but it started to rain.
We had a pool party, and we played wiffle ball in the backyard, and it was awesome. And I think the spirit of competition got pretty rough, and I said something. Got a kid at second base. I can never forget that.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I was concussed at one of my birthday parties.
Jeez.
My brother-in-law hit me with his elbow. He was playing safety. I was playing receiver. He came through the receiver.
He got you.
Pass interference.
Did you call it?
Or
were you just too hurt?
I had to come out for a play or two. I was a little dinged, but then I got right back in there.
Yeah.
Probably not smart.
Well, you're a grown man. You got to get in there.
It's 12, but yeah close enough.
Toughen up. Power Mill Training Academy, equipping your child, motivating athletes focused on baseball and softball with the specific tools to reach their true potential. That's a good thing, man. So whether it's baseball or softball, or whether your kid thinks they fancy making the majors or just want to have fun in Little League, they got you covered. It's developmental and fundamental skills for your kids. That's what they're going to teach them. They're going to have fun doing it. It's really cool. The facility's nice. Go check it out. You want to learn more, PowerMillSports.com. If you would, sir, let's get to some probables.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Oh, man, we're down 3-2 in the ninth. Let's go, Buccos. Martin Perez started that game for Texas. Johan Oviedo for the Pirates.
Got to break out your Jolly Roger. Let's go.
I know. We got a game 2, I think, later tonight. I thought, maybe. D-backs, Phillies, Zach Gallen, Rangers, Suarez. That game is 5-0, Arizona in the 6th. Just putting it on the Phillies. 6-1, Minnesota leading San Francisco. That is Anthony DeScalfini and Joe Ryan. White Sox lead Cleveland 6-0 in the 8th. That game was started by Michael Kopech and Cal Quantrill. 4-0, Milwaukee leading Houston in the 7th. Brandon Bielak and Adrian Hauser. Tonight, Cardinals, Reds, Steven Matz, Ben Lively. Blue Jays, Rays. Yusakaguchi. Shane McClanahan. Padres, Nats. Ryan Weathers, Trevor Williams. Orioles, Yankees, Tyler Wells. Nestor Cortez. Let's go, Orioles. Dodgers, Braves, Tony Gonsolin and Bryce Elder. We got the Tigers and the Royals, Matthew Boyd, Zach Greinke. Mets, Cubs. Sangasan. Let's go. Marcus Stroman goes for the Cubs. Yeesh. Marlins, Rockies. Alcantara going for the Marlins and Carl Kaufman. I know they call him Alcantara, but I will not do it.
Carl Kaufman. That's a new favorite.
Carl Kaufman.
Short sleeve with a tie.
Red Sox and Angels, James Paxton, Tyler Anderson. Athletics and Mariners, Ken Waldichuk and Bryce Miller. That is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. Duke lost their 4 games by an average of 4 points last year, and they have a good quarterback. Thanks, Garrett. Yeah, I knew they played well. You know, they'd always stand
back. We'll find out.
Well enough. They played well enough last year. They certainly were not your typical Duke.
In the lead up to the Georgia Tech game, I watched Duke Georgia Tech play head to head, and I wasn't convinced that much had changed in terms of just Duke as a product. Elko's doing great things with not much to work with.
Well,
at my point.
That's what good coaches do, buddy. That's what they do. I'm full on addicted to Better Call Saul. I spend my days dreaming of getting home to watch Better Call Saul.
And you are where? Middle of season 2 or 3 now?
I'm about to start season 3.
Okay.
It's just fantastic. Just fantastic. And I always find myself conflicted. That's a great thing about that. Every character storyline, you're like, well, I can see it. I know why they did that. It's not necessarily ethical, but I get it. And then other times you're like, oh, don't do that. And then you're kind of like, oh, he's going to do this. Don't do that, Jimmy. Then you're kind of like, oh, no, this is not going to go well. Mike, be careful. They're on to you. No, this is not good. And then you're kind of like, well, then again, I like Nacho. Nacho's solid, but Nacho, look, man.
You should have done that,
Yeah.
Nacho. Why'd you do that, Nacho?
Yeah.
Your dad matters, Nacho.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that happen where what I do the whole time is I think, okay, well, I know that this person doesn't make it to Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm.
I know that this person does, but is very different than they are now.
Right.
This person doesn't, but this person does. And when are they going to introduce this person? And yeah, you can see how the connections are going to happen.
But it's all a tour de force. Every performance, just about every single one, you go,
everybody's
God.
good in the show. Everybody's good in it. The lady that plays Kim Wexler is incredible.
She only gets better as the show goes on.
She's just
Rhea
great.
Seehorn, unbelievable.
Has she been in anything else lately?
She was greenlit to do something.
She's good.
Yeah, she becomes an even more of a star. Yeah.
Good work out of you. Good work out of you, director. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. It's our last show of the week, so you're going to want to be here early. Get here an hour and a half early. Sit here and wait patiently. Peace.